Happy September, fellas. First of all, to my Patreon subscribers, I should be available for most of the month for my Skype and telephone consultations. I do have one 3-day period where I'm going to be out of town at the end of the month, but generally I'll be available, unlike the latter half of July and a lot of August. I was out of town. So I want to make that clear. That's mainly geared towards my $20 and $50 Patreon subscribers. Excuse me. Now, I wasn't going to mention anything related to my last video, but you know I got to. Not going to be anything lengthy, but I got to mention at least a couple things related to the rant, angry rant video clip from the popular dating coach who goes by the pseudonym Alpha Male Strategies. Number one, do you know I had at least, not many, but like 3 or 4 guys who wrote comments in my comment section, probably followers of his, that said, damn, ARC, why you always got to be hating on AMS? Why you always got to be hating on AMS? How can you hate on somebody when you didn't say a word in the video? If you notice, I purposely and intentionally did not say one word in that video. I didn't say one word in that video. I let his own words do all the talking. So nobody can legitimately accuse me of hating on him when the only thing you heard was his voice. You didn't hear my voice in that video. So yeah, again, I didn't have many. I think I had like 3, maybe 4 guys that wrote. I think I since deleted them. But I had 3 or 4 guys that wrote comments in my comment section along the lines of, yeah, ASC, man, you always hating on AMS, man. Why you got to be hating on him? I didn't hate on him. Here's what I found interesting. 2 things, and then I'm move on to what I really want to talk about. Number 1, if you notice, he was harshly criticizing a career that he himself has financially benefited from, which a few people pointed out in my comment section. Here he was calling guys who are dating coaches stupid, dumb, and idiotic, but yet he has financially benefited from being a dating coach. Because before he became a dating coach, he was just a health and fitness trainer. He wasn't making any big money being just a health and fitness trainer. He wasn't making no big money being just a health and fitness trainer. It wasn't until Alpha Male Strategy started marketing himself as a dating coach in addition to being a health and fitness trainer when he started earning a 6-figure salary. So that was number 1. I found it interesting because I had never seen this clip before. A follower of mine sent me that clip, I want to say on either Thursday or Friday. Yeah, I had never seen that clip before. But yeah, one of my followers, because I think half the reason why my followers sent me this clip is because I did a video about Alpha Male Strategies in late December of last year. I'll put it in the comment section. It was called the Top 5 Major Contradictions, Blatant Contradictions of Dating Coach Alpha Male Strategy, because he has a tendency to contradict himself. And some of his followers came in my comment section of that video and said, ARC, with all due respect, man, I think you misrepresenting AMS. You're trying to make it seem like he's all about lying to women and misleading and manipulating women. That ain't really what AMS is about. Actually, in his own way, AMS promotes a lot of honesty similar to you. He may not promote something similar to Mode 1, but in his own way, he promotes a lot of honesty too. He ain't really about lying to women and misleading and manipulating them the way you're trying to, paint a picture of him to be. That's bullshit. I remember when AMS first started skyrocketing in popularity. The first thing that made AMS skyrocket in popularity between roughly mid-December of 2017 and roughly April-May of 2018 was he was always telling men that it was okay to lie to women and mislead and manipulate them in order to get them in bed. Matter of fact, he had a slogan for it. He called it his philosophy the sleazeball philosophy. The sleazeball philosophy. That was his well-known philosophy in 2018. He called his followers the sleazeball gang. The sleazeball gang. That's what a sleazeball is. A sleazeball is a person who's a liar, a cheat, and a manipulator. A liar, a cheat, and a manipulator. That's what a sleazeball is. So how can anybody come in my conversation talking about AMS don't be telling men a lie when the main thing that first catapulted his popularity was him talking about being a sleazeball. So that's one thing that video clip that I played in my last video verified that he is about lying to women, or at least he was. I ain't gonna speak for how he is right now. What, September of 2019? Maybe he has changed his attitude and beliefs. But I know for a fact in 2018, he was all about encouraging men to lie to women and mislead and manipulate women to get them in bed. So that's number one. I found that it was interesting that he would criticize dating coaches, even though he's financially benefited from being a dating coach. And that I felt vindicated for those people who tried to say that I was misrepresenting him by suggesting that he's all about lying. Second thing that was prominent in that video clip, AMS really don't know what he's talking about when it comes to the concept of the friend zone. The friend zone. If you listen to his comments, he basically suggests or implies that you're less likely to land in a woman's friend zone if you lie to them and bullshit them as opposed to being straightforwardly honest with women about what you really want from them. When the reality is, it's literally just the opposite. And everybody who's followed me for years knows that. It's literally just the opposite. It is literally impossible. You can quote me on this. It is impossible to enter into a woman's dreaded friend zone and remain in a woman's friend zone when you're mode one with a woman about your true sexual desires, interests, and intentions. It's impossible. It is literally. It's impossible. It's impossible. I have never, ever, not even one time, not one time have I ever had a woman place me in her friend zone when I verbally communicated my sexual desires, interests, and intentions to her in a mode one manner, in a upfront, specific, and straightforward mode one manner. Never. I've never done that. I've never, ever, ever done that. I've never had a woman put me in her friend zone. Ever. Again, I would literally say it's impossible. You can't land in a woman's friend zone when you're mode one. The only time you're going to end up in a woman's friend zone is when you either at minimum exhibit mode 2 behavior, which means your verbal communication style is overly cautious, overly polite, very flattering and entertaining, and very vague and ambiguous and beat around the bush. Vague and ambiguous and beat around the bush. That's mode 2. Mode 2 will land you in a woman's friend zone if only for a few days or a few weeks. And then even more so is when you're have the bad habit of exhibiting mode 3 behavior. Mode 3 behavior would definitely land you in the friend zone. What is mode 3? Mode 3, once again, is when you try basically to do one or two things. You either indefinitely try to hide your true sexual desires, interests, and intentions from women, or you try to blatantly lie to women and mislead women about what your true sexual desires, interests, and intentions are. Lying to women and trying to mislead and manipulate women is actually what leads to men ending up in a woman's friend zone. That's actually what leads. I give you a classic example. Let's say you meet a woman named Michelle. And the main thing you really want to do with Michelle is fuck Michelle. But instead of telling her straight up that you want to fuck her, you pretend like you enjoy talking to her in a totally non-sexual manner. You pretend like you enjoy spending time with her, a significant amount of time with her, in a non-sexual manner. Basically, you're giving that woman impression, that misleading impression, that her non-sexual companionship is more important to you and more appealing to you than her sexual companionship is. Of course you're going to end up in a woman's friend zone. Of course you are. And there's no question about it. Anytime you interact with any woman and you give that woman a misleading impression that you find her non-sexual attention and companionship far more interesting and far more appealing than her sexual attention and companionship, that's when you're going to end up in a woman's friend zone. The simple way to always prevent yourself from being in a woman's friend zone is to tell them in an upfront, straightforward, specific, and straightforwardly honest manner, hey, the number one reason why I'm interacting with you is because I want to fuck you. It's because I want to fuck you. Whether it's long-term or short-term, or monogamous or non-monogamous, I want to fuck you. Period. If you do that, I guarantee you, I don't like to make guarantees. I guarantee you, you'll never end up in a woman's friend zone. Ever. I guarantee you won't. When you mow one with women, you will never, ever, ever end up in a woman's friend zone. Ever. So anyway, enough about AMS. In a nutshell, I didn't have to hate on AMS in that last video. Again, there's a saying that if you give someone enough rope, they'll inevitably hang themselves. My last video was a classic example of that. He incriminated himself with his own words. Now, what I want to talk about in this video is something related to an article I wrote on the Negro Manosphere a long time ago. As you know, in my book, The Beta Male Revolution, I emphasize that the most prominent period that changed male-female intersexual dynamics more profoundly than any other period in if not world history, definitely United States history, was that period between 1960 and 1974. 1960 and 1974. Again, the significance of that period, the first thing that happened during that period was the introduction of the birth control pill. The second thing that happened during that period was the second wave of feminism shifted into fifth gear and was very prominent in society. The third significant thing that happened during that period was you had what's known as the free love movement, or otherwise known as the sexual revolution. And the fourth and final major thing that happened during that period was the legalization of abortion. And see, here's the deal, man. Here's why things changed. Before 1960s, most women were socialized to pursue a man that was the total package. The total package. What is meant by the total package? Let's divide women's wants and needs into at least three general categories. Her sexual wants and needs, her non-sexual wants and needs, and her financial wants and needs. Her sexual wants and needs, her non-sexual wants and needs, and her financial wants and needs. If you were a man that women considered very appealing sexually, non-sexually, and financially, then that's when you would be considered the total package. The total package. If you were considered to be appealing sexually, non-sexually, and financially. Like in basketball, a lot of people call LeBron James the total package. He's been given that title quite a bit, LeBron James. A lot of people call him the total package because they say he can play almost any position. He can play point guard, he can play shooting guard, he can play small forward, he can play power forward, he can even play center if need be. So a lot of people within the National Basketball Association, NBA, a lot of people have referred to LeBron James as the total package. And as it relates to dating relationships, yeah, the no one time you were considered to be a guy who was representative of the total package again is if you could fulfill a woman's sexual wants and needs, you could fulfill and satisfy a woman's non-sexual wants and needs, and you can fulfill and satisfy a woman's financial wants and needs. But here's what happened during that period between 1960 and 1974 is that women were essentially given the green light. Society basically gave women the green light to feel more comfortable having sex with men before they got married and just generally outside the context of marriage. What did that mean? And I'm not going to go into too much lengthy detail because I explain it in detail in my book, The Beta Male Revolution. But essentially, in a nutshell, what it meant for women is that they could now specialize. Women could now specialize in men. What do I mean by specialize? Women could pursue different men for different needs. They could pursue different men for different needs. And see, this is why a lot of men sometimes are left confused by men. Like, I've talked to a lot of men who say, Alan, women confuse me. I'll say, why? They'll say, well, sometimes I'll see a woman with a really good-looking guy, but then I'll see her with a not-so-good-looking guy. Or I'll see her with a real wealthy guy, but then I'll see her hanging out with a guy who I know for a fact is nowhere near wealthy. Or I'll see her with a guy that's real buff and muscular, and then another time I'll see her with a guy that's fat and out of shape. One time I'll see her with a tall guy, and then I'll see her with a short guy, and so on and so on and so on. And a lot of guys, they look at that as confusing. But see, if you truly understand women and you understand their specialized needs, there's nothing confusing about that. See, without getting too lengthy and without getting too detailed, women are going to emphasize different attributes, characteristics, and behavioral qualities depending on what their need for you is. Depending on what their need for you is. So, for example, if a woman just wants you as a casual fuck buddy, the only thing she's really going to care about is your aesthetics, meaning your looks, your degree of sex appeal, how smooth, seductive, and just overall how sexy you are, and just how confidently she feels you're going to satisfy her in bed. That's all a woman cares about if she got you in the casual fuck buddy category. On another role, let's say a woman has you in the long-term boyfriend, future husband category. Then she's going to want you to offer a blend of good sexual companionship and good non-sexual companionship. She's going to put emphasis on both. She's going to put emphasis on both the appeal of your sexual companionship and the appeal of your non-sexual companionship. If a woman wants you to be, say, a sugar daddy or a very financially generous husband and provider, then of course she's going to put emphasis on how much money you make. how successful you are career-wise, and how much money you make. Or if a woman wants you just as a purely platonic friend, she's going to put emphasis on how flattering you are, how entertaining you are, how emotionally empathetic you are, just how easy to get along with you are, how easy to manipulate you are. You get that? So, in a nutshell, man, women pay attention to different characteristics based on what role they want you in. What role they want you in. Again, like, you'll notice, I'll give you a perfect example. You'll notice if a woman just wants you as a fuck buddy, she doesn't care if you're a quote unquote asshole or jerk. Most women don't care if a man is an asshole or jerk if all they want from that guy is just some good, satisfying dick. They don't care if a man is an asshole or a jerk. But on the flip side, when it comes to women's choices for a purely platonic male friend, someone who they're going to mainly spend time with non-sexually, exclusively spend time with non-sexually, then they're just the opposite. The least thing they want is a guy who's an asshole or a jerk. You're rarely gonna find a woman go out of their way to maintain a platonic friendship with a guy who has a reputation for being an asshole or a jerk. That ain't gonna happen. It's of no benefit to a woman for a guy to be an asshole or a jerk if she's looking for a platonic friend. But if she's just looking for good dick, she don't care if a man is an asshole or a jerk. And again, right in the middle would be the boyfriend / future husband. See, when a woman looking at you as boyfriend material, future husband material, she's not going to put exclusively all her emphasis on your sexual attributes, what's appealing about your sexual companionship, and she's not going to exclusively put all her emphasis on what's appealing about you non-sexually. She's going to emphasize both, a combination of both. When a woman's looking for a long-term boyfriend or future husband, she wants a guy that's both appealing sexually and non-sexually. Sexually and non-sexually. Fuck buddy, all she cares about is what you have to offer sexually. Platonic friend, all she cares about is what you have to offer non-sexually. Boyfriend / husband, she cares about what you have to offer in both categories. And the one other role would be pay for play, what I call the pay for play role. Pay for play, all she cares about, are you going to financially compensate her in exchange for a sexual companionship? Are you going to financially compensate her? Only thing she cares about is, do you have enough money to give to her what she's requiring of you? These are the two reasons why women play games. And then I'll wrap up here. And then before I get to my Patreon exclusive portion. I'm going to tell you the top two reasons why you always, of course, hear men say, oh, man, I'm tired of women playing games. Why do women play games? Why do women play games? And second to playing games would be shit tests. Why do women give you so many shit tests? Why are women always trying to shit test you? I'll tell you the simple reason why women, number one, play games with men and why they shit test men. Why they play games with men and why they shit test men. Number one, no one time a woman's going to play games with you, going back to those 4 roles I always talk about, the fuck buddy role, boyfriend / husband role, pay for play role, and purely platonic friend role. Reason why women are going to play games with you is number one, is if they're undecided which role they actually want you to function in. When a woman's undecided about which role she wants you to function in, she's going to tend to play games with you. Like, let's say she's in a position where a part of her wants you to be a fuck buddy, but another part of her wants you to be a boyfriend, long-term boyfriend / future husband. See, when a woman's in that situation, she's going to tend to play games with you. And she's going to tend to shit test you to see which role you're more appropriate for. Or another situation would be, let's say a woman is undecided whether she wants you to be a purely platonic friend or a potential sugar daddy. Or what some women call a sponsor, a financial sponsor. She's going to play games. She's going to play games until she decides which of those roles will be better for her, more beneficial to her. And along with that, she's going to shit test you to see which role you're more beneficial to. So that's the one reason why women are going to play games and administer shit tests, is when they're undecided about which of those 4 roles they want you to operate in. The second most time women are going to play games is when they know what role they want you to function in, but they firmly believe that you're going to have a negative reaction to that role. That's the second most time women are going to play games and administer shit tests. So let's say a woman meets you and she knows she wants you in the purely platonic friend role, but she knows that you want to be in the boyfriend role. She knows that you want to be in the boyfriend, long-term boyfriend / future husband role. That woman's going to play games with you. She's going to play games with you because she knows that if she straightforwardly told you that all she wanted you to be is a purely platonic friend, you might have a negative reaction to that and say, oh, fuck it, I ain't going to deal with you at all. So because she wants to maintain your access to your non-sexual time, attention, and companionship, she's going to play games with you indefinitely. And she's going to also administer various forms of shit tests. So again, the 2 times women are going to play games with you and administer shit tests with you is either when they don't really know which of those 4 roles they want you to function in, or secondly, they know which role they want you to function in, but they firmly believe you're going to have a negative reaction to your chosen role if they straightforwardly tell you what role they want you to be in. Get it? Got it? Good. Join me in my Patreon exclusive portion where I will further dissect my 4 archetypes, which is the total alpha male, alpha males with beta traits, beta males with alpha traits, and total beta male. And I'm going to cover that actually over the course of the next week or week and a half. But the first thing I'm going to touch on is a lot of men have a misconception that all women want an alpha male over a beta male. A lot of men have this misconception that all women want an alpha male over a beta male. That is far from the truth. And I'm going to discuss that in my Patreon exclusive portion today.